The 2025 to 26 Premier League season has officially come to an end, but we've still got lots of action and stuff to talk about from the last day of the round. Victor, starting with, of course, the champions. I have to mention that word several times. The champions, Arsenal. But anyways, Arsenal ended up as champions, 7 points clear of Manchester City. Despite what people were saying all through the season, what's your opinion on whether the Gunners were deserving champions, and what did you make of their trophy lift?
Oh yeah, it was a great moment, obviously, and a long time coming as well. I mean, 22 years since the last time, 3 seasons of coming so close, and now finally, the moment they've been working towards for so long. I would say yes, absolutely deserved. Even though the football they played at times has been cagey, but yeah, take nothing away from them. It was a good season. Even though in terms of the neutrals and other Premier League fans, it might not live long in the collective memory, but it will with the Arsenal fan base. And I'm hoping that next season the shackles come off a little bit and we see some better football from Arsenal, because we know that the team can do it. And especially without Guardiola around to spoil your fun, maybe we might see a better Arsenal than this season.
Yeah, fair enough. And speaking about records, Max, Bruno Fernandes officially broke the Premier League assist record, taking his tally to 21, in Manchester United's 3-0 win over Brighton. How impressive is that feat to achieve?
I mean, I saw a lot of guys talking about corner kicks and stuff like that, pretty much the same we talk about Arsenal throughout the season. But I mean, every single team have a lot of corners and nobody broke it before. So I guess it still says a lot about player himself that he's been doing it decently. And also the fact about this game, that when Brighton needed it and they destroyed them 3-0 on the road, it also shows some respect for the Carrick himself as well. And he finished as the best manager at the gap he was in the league in terms of points. So I'm looking in the next season with some kind of optimism because, I mean, if we can improve some midfield and defensive problems and without Pep Guardiola, as you mentioned, and Slot staying at Liverpool, we can actually fight for the title. At least I hope for that.
Yeah, right. Anyways, moving over to two relegated sides, Victor. I think we called it in our prediction video that this game was most likely headed for a draw, and rightfully so. Burnley and Wolves played out to a 1-1 scoreline to mark the final games of the Premier League campaign. How soon do you think we'll see any, or maybe both of them, return to the Premier League?
First of all, yeah, we called the draw, but I was off the mark as I said 0-0. It ended 1-1. I should have known better defensive silliness and whatnot. As for them coming back up, no, I don't think so. I do expect at least one of them to make the playoffs, because they will be expanded up to the 8th place in the next championship season. More likely Burnley than Wolves, but I don't think either bounces straight back up. They just don't have enough quality. And with plenty of quality around 5 or 6 other sides in the championship and only 3 spots going up at the end of the day, I think it will be a while until either of them comes back to the Prem.
Sad one if you're a Wolves or a Burnley fan. Anyways, away from Burnley and Wolves and over to you, Max. Was it a surprise to see Fulham beat Newcastle on the final day?
See, maybe it's not a purely surprise that Fulham won, but the fashion of the game itself, because Newcastle still was dreaming about European spots and stuff like that. But when you look at the game itself, they had only 2 shots on target. They conceded 21 in total and 6 on target. They didn't score. They looked toothless. And also the fact that they finished 12 after all the money spent and the transfers that were made and everything was going on with the Champions League itself, it kind of disappointing. But the fact that Sko is staying probably marks that I don't see them making Europe next season as well. And probably then they can finally get rid of him and probably try something new, because it feels like he already peaked with this Newcastle team and his attitude at the club as well. So I would probably say that next season they're not going to succeed, and maybe after that season they can finally change the manager to something else.
Yeah, fair enough. And then we end this particular video with the former reigning champions. I mean, if you had asked any Liverpool fan at the start of the season to predict how their campaign would go, I doubt maybe up to 10 of them would have, guessed what happened. But anyways, Victor, rate this campaign for Liverpool out of 10. And what do you think went wrong for the Reds?
You really had to put me through this, didn't you? As for the rating, 3. And what went wrong? Plenty. I mean, I don't think first things first. I don't think people truly appreciate just how much Diogo Jota passing away affected everyone. I mean, you could see with Robertson in his interviews before the departure, he was talking about even the physios not being up to task during preseason and at the start of the campaign. Everybody was just in a very gloomy space, mind space. And I don't think we from the outside of the club understand just how bad it was and how much it affected everyone. Um, but apart from that, I mean, you spend 440 million pounds on players as the reigning champions, and then you go on to almost barely finish fifth. That is disgraceful. And I'm not blaming the players nearly as much as I'm blaming the coach. There were injuries, and everybody has injuries, and everybody needs to deal with it. They were probably half as unlucky as Spurs,
Hmm.
but there were injuries that really derailed everything. Look at Isak breaking his leg. Look at Bradley. Look at Giovanni Laoni. But the biggest takeaway here is Arne Slot is in way over his head.
Yeah, I mean, this is a season to forget for Liverpool fans, definitely. And let's see if they will spend another 440 million pounds this summer. Obviously not. But
And if
anyways,
they
yeah,
do have it to spend, I hope they don't let Slot spend it.
right. But anyways, current report indicates that Slot is probably still going to be Liverpool's manager next season. So tough luck anyways. We'll still have more of the games to discuss, and we'll be doing all of that from the final round of action in another video. So stay tuned.